Hello, namaste. So we are back with the second part of our Four Noble Truth and Eightfold Path, Festival of Asala, Goodwill. And we had completed the first two Four Noble Truth. And today we are going to proceed with the rest of the two. So let's proceed. I am Ritu. I am a psychologist and a healer from Healing Buddha. So we have seen that there is a suffering in life and there is a reason for that suffering. Now the question is that how to get rid of that sorrow, and that is also Buddha has given. So the third point is ceasing of sorrow. Already we see how grief ceases and how calm is to be attained, right? Like we have seen that if we do not go deep into our worldly desire, then definitely we can reduce our suffering. Like if we just take life as it is going, and all the incidents and what we are getting or not is a part of life, and we accept the reality without getting too much deeply attached with our desire, we can reduce the intensity of the sorrow what we are going to receive. It is by always keeping the thought on the highest things. So instead of, like we have seen the two aspect, right? One is the higher aspect and one is the lower aspect of the desire. Now the higher aspect of the, when we it comes to the sorrow, is like we as a monad, a bigger pool of light. And as we know that each person has its own bigger pool of light, which is monad, and which pranic healer known as a divine spark. And just a drop of it is has come down as all of us. Now we all know that being a big pool of light and a drop coming out and manifesting itself as a life, it's a limitation, and that is a sorrow. The second thing is when we desire certain things in our day-to-day life which are not on the negative side, about our career, money, relationship, which is a part of life. So that also brings sorrow. But that doesn't mean that one should not desire. It is just that the how we are desiring, the intensity of the desire, and how attached we are with that, with our that those desires, that brings sorrow, right? And that can also bring peace. Now the other thing is that on the negative side is that when what we desire we see that thing with other people, sometimes that sense of enviousness comes. That is a negative kind of desire, and the outcome of the desire which brings sorrow, that is a sorrow, right? Like one is not happy with what other is having, so that is also a sorrow. Sometimes when we are having that thing what other people are not having, when they see us, they also feel a sorrow. So one is suffering from sorrow and one has become the cause of sorrow because of the lower nature, right? So if we keep all these things away and work on our purification and right attitude towards the life, we can reduce all this kind of sorrow. We have still to live in this world which has been poetically described as the sorrowful star, as indeed it is for so many, perhaps for most people, though it need not to be. Yet we may live in it quite happily if we are not attached to it by desire. So just take life as a journey. Like suppose for you, for example, when we go in a flight and in a train, we have a certain kind of expectation of services what we get in train and the flight, and we get lot of benefits or comforts in life, right? And when we but we know that this doesn't belong to us permanently, so we do not get attached with that. And when we come down from the flight, we just leave it there, right? And we are not attached, we don't feel sorrow. Oh, I have left my TV or blanket or kit or something like that, because we know that that was given in that life, that journey, and not it doesn't belong to us. So if we develop this kind of attitude in life also, we will not be sorrowful if we gain or lose something, if we are If we are lacking something in life, or if we see someone else is having that, we will not have those kind of pain and sorrow. So the right kind of attachment and attitude also help us to get rid of sorrow. We we are in it, but we must not be of it, as at least not to such an extent that it is causing us trouble. Undoubtedly, our duty is to help others in this trouble and worry. But in order to do that effectively, we must have none of our own. We must let those ruffles which might cause them slip smoothly past us, leaving us calm and contented. So first, before helping other, we need to see that whether how much we are detached with that. So detachment here doesn't mean that you do not love your goals, you do not love your aims, you do not love your family and near and dear one. It is not. But we also need to understand the nature of life, and we need to develop a right kind of attitude, a very balanced attitude, so that our inner peace is not disturbed. You have seen that some people get too much attached with a relationship that they are always worried with them. And worry is also an energy, right? So if we worry too much, we are also causing harm to that person about whom we are worried, right? So sometime more than negative people, sometime it is the people who really love, due to their worry, due to their anxiety, they hurt their loved one. So we need to develop a very right kind of attitude before helping other. There may be some who think such an attitude unattainable. It is not so, for it is where Lord Buddha would never have prescribed it for us. We can all reach it, and we ought to do so, because only when we have attained it, we can really and effectively help our fellow human being. Right. So he is saying that it is not that it is not impossible. That is why Buddha has given us. Otherwise, Buddha would not have given us. He would have just said that, there is no point in giving, because there are lot of teachings, lot of things about the inner life, inner world, and the bigger perspective, which are not taught to common people, because it is of no use, because our consciousness has not matured enough to conceive all those ideas and believe on it. But these are given to the common public, and this is also given um, in Bhagavad Gita also, and there are some other texts also which actually explain in the same line. Same way, Buddha has given in a very crisp way four noble truth and eightfold path. So he has indicated that what is the cause of suffering, and he has given the solution also, and it is very much attainable. One can attain that, right? Now the way which leads to escape from sorrow, now that is the fourth part. So if we control our desire, we can actually help ourselves, or we if we have a right attitude towards our desires, we can actually escape from sorrow, or we can reduce the intensity of the sorrow, right? And now the fourth is the way which leads to escape from sorrow. This is very important, and here comes the eightfold path. So in the four noble truth, the last point, actually the way which leads to escape from sorrow, under this will come eightfold path. So let's see the eightfold path. Eightfold path: right belief, right thought, right speech, right actions, right means of livelihood, right endeavor, right memory, right meditation or concentration. Okay, so these are the eightfold path which help us to have a right kind of attitude towards our desires or towards the worldly thing. So let's see one by one. The way which leads to escape from the sorrow, that is the fourth point, right? This is given to us in what is called the Eightfold Path, another of the Lord Buddha's wonderful tabulation or categories. It is very beautiful statement because it can be taken at all levels. The man in the world, even the uneducated man, can take it in its lowest aspect and find a way to peace and comfort through it. And yet, the highest philosopher may also take it and interpret it at his level and learn very much from it. So he is saying that it is such a beautiful description, like he has just given a summary of it, that even a simple man can understand in its own way, and they can take it how much they want to take it, right? Because remember that we all are growing, we all are not perfect. So even the people who look perfect, they are also evolving and trying to be more perfect, they at the soul level, right? So at our own level, looking at our own life, we need to reflect on all these teachings and take it and apply it in our life. And the people who are on the higher level of philosophy and development and all that, they will take it on their level and apply it. So it is for everyone. Most of the teachings what are given in this beautiful book, The Masters and the Path, it is said that whatever is good for the common people, it is also good for the rest of the people. Like everyone at their own level can apply these teachings, right? And they can achieve peace and happiness in life. So if we do not have anxiety, worry, too much of attachment and sorrow, the life would be easier and beautiful, isn't it? And we will not waste our energy in those kind of lower emotions and energies, and what we will do is like we will focus more on constructive work, right? So these are the just not the spiritual path or what we say, but it is for everyday's life. Now, we need to also understand people very easily separate spiritual path versus the day-to-day life. But we all need to understand that we all are spiritual being, spiritual, spirit, soul. We all are soulful being, and we must live this life soulfully. So whether you are so-called spiritualism, when people, try to deliberately do the practices and actions to find or seek the essence of the almighty, that is in general public they call it as a spiritual life. And then the worldly life, when we go with our day to day work, with our responsibilities and all, that is called the worldly life. But in true sense, a yogi means the person who combined, who do the yoga means, which brings it together, the spiritual life in your day to day life. So when we do our actions in a right way, we are doing the yoga of balance. We are bringing the spiritual, we are living a soulful day to day life. So it is a yoga, right? So to be a yogi, you don't need to go Himalaya and sit and do tapasya. But if you are bringing the spiritual essence in your worldly life, and if you see your day-to-day actions in the from the lens of the spirituality and what is right, what is dharma is what is right. It is not really the word dharma is not equal to religion. The word dharma means what is right, what is virtues, what is the right action, that is called dharma. That is why Buddha says that dhammam sharanam gacchami. Dhammam means dharma. Dharmam sharanam gacchami, that means to live a peaceful life, you should adopt the life of dharma, means see the life from the right action, virtuous action. So these are the pointers which help us to live a very soulful life, right? So let's see. The first step is the path is right belief. Some people object to the qualification. Some people object to the qualification because they say that it demands from them something in the nature of blind faith. It is not at all that sort of belief which is required. It is rather a demand for a certain amount of knowledge as the ruling factors in life. It demands that we shall understand a little of the divine scheme as far as it applies to us. And if we cannot yet see that for ourselves, that we should accept it as it is always put before us. Certain broad facts are always put before men in some form or other. They are explained even to the primitive tribes by their medicine men to the rest of the mankind by various religious teachers and in all kinds of scriptures. It is very true that the scriptures and religious religions differ, but the point in which they all agree have to be accepted by a man before he can understand life sufficiently to live happily. One of these factors is the eternal law of cause and effect. So he's saying that right kind of belief, we need to have a right kind of, it is not the blind belief towards any, the set rule and all that. But it is a having a right kind of belief based on dharma, based on what is right, based on what is virtues. Virtues like loving kindness, generosity, truthfulness, honesty, moderation, all these are virtues. And our belief should also be very well goes around it. So it is not the blind belief, but we need to read the ancient text. I'm not saying that just the religious text. Some of the texts are adopted as the religious text, but basically many of them I can categorize as a books of knowledge. You go through that, there are certain, like for example Bhagavad Gita, it also tells the how one should live their life in a very very peaceful way, in a very right way, based on the right act and right virtues, right? So we need to take it, even if we do not suppose, for example, if we show mercy to others, the mercy will come to us, right? So if we do not believe in this fact that if we show mercy to others, but mercy will come to us, but if we reflect upon this sentence, we say like, there is no harm in experimenting and seeing that whether it is helping me or not. And when many people or many good people are saying like that, and it is a good thing, right, to show mercy on others. It is not telling us to harm anyone, any being. If that kind of teachings are given, we can, with our intellect, we can neglect that thing, because it is, we don't believe on it, and it is saying to harm other, so we will not believe on this. But if it is something like show love and love will come to you, then there is no harm in actually showing the love, and the love will come back to us, right? So we can always experiment on this, right? So he's saying that one of these fact is eternal law of cause and effect. Cause and effect is the law of karma, right? If we do something, the something will come. If we are doing good, the good will come. If we are doing bad, the bad will come. If a man live under the delusion that he can do anything that he likes, and that the effect of his action will never recoil upon him, he will most certainly find that some of these actions eventually involve him in unhappiness and suffering. So if we don't believe in like cause and effect, and we just live our life just like that, then sometimes some people with the impurities, with the malicious thoughts and intentions, will think that doing some harm to someone will not bring harm to us. Whereas the people who believe on this, that if I am harming any being, and whether it is plant, animal, environment, non-living organism, any kind of human being, irrespective of their caste, creed, region, religion, their religious faith, and all that. If I am harming someone, the harm will come to me. That is the law of karma. If somebody doesn't believe that, and it is, or maybe it is provoked by some malicious thoughts and intentions to kill someone, those kind of people, if they start doing that and do not believe that goodness brings goodness and badness will bring badness, they can harm themselves in long run, right? If again he does not understand the object of his life in progress, that God's will for him is that he shall grow to do something better and nobler than he is now, then also he will bring unhappiness and suffering upon him, because he will likely to live for the lower side of life only, and that lower side of the life never finally satisfy the inner man. And so it comes about that he must at least now know something of these great laws of nature, and if he cannot yet know them for himself, he will be well for him to believe. Later on, and at a higher level, before the second initiation can be attained, we are told that we must kill out all doubts. Now, it is said that we should know the divine plan. One is like cause and effect, which is the law of karma. If you do good, goodness will come back. The second thing is that we must understand that the mother nature, or the universal God, or the universal supreme God, Bhagwan and Almighty, whatever name you want to give that great being, want us to become a better version of us, to do something better. If you have come in this life, add some beauty in your own capacity to this world. That is just the expectation which the great beings have from us. If we understand these two things, we can adjust our life with the right kind of belief. We will do the good, we will try to avoid the bad, and we will also try to add beauty in this world in our own way by doing plantation, feeding the poor, taking care of animals, cleaning our surrounding clean, helping other people in our own way, teaching people, small things. And we can see that we are improving, we are also getting the inner happiness. If we do not believe on these two beliefs, which are totally harmless in all intellectual observation, if we do write these beliefs in a piece of paper and see that, is these beliefs, even if I don't believe that they are saying true, is it are they going to harm any person, right? If somebody says, if somewhere it is taught or written that kill this kind of people and you will be good, or you will consider as great. Now if we write this and reflect, our intellectual mind, our heart will say that involves harming someone. And if we do not know, actually if we are not sure that whether it is true or not, then we are harming someone, right? But if you write that do good, goodness will come. And second point is, the Almighty, the Divine, want us to add beauty to this world, do the service, make this world a little better place to live. If we write these two things and reflect upon this, these two things are not harming anyone. In fact, they are invoking the goodness within us. So there is no, even if from deep consciousness we don't know that whether it is law of karma is true or not, or even we don't know that whether the Almighty really want us to add beauty to the world or not. Even if you don't believe, even if you have doubt, but if you are following these things, you are actually helping the world to be a better place, and that will bring peace, right? If you feed a hungry person, if you plant a tree, whether it is give, forget about all the religious things, teachings, what God has said, what this book has said, that book has said, but if you're doing service to someone, is it giving you peace? The answer is yes. If the answer is yes, then it is worth doing, right? Because if these two things are not given, these two things will control our action. Before doing anything bad, or before trying to make this world an ugly place, we will be restricted by our soul, because we know this teaching that don't do this. This is not correct. And there we are our own watchdogs, right? So we will believe a right kind of attitude, right kind of belief, and they are worth your time and energy. When Lord Buddha was asked, and the last thing is that before the second initiation, first initiation, second initiation, third initiation, and then the fourth initiation is Arhat, right? Those who know about the initiation, it is like the different evolving stages of human being. It is like your promotions, right? So before the second spiritual promotion in the inner world, you must kill all kind of this doubt that all these virtues are not given by the nature. Let me use the word, very universal word, nature, or the supreme energy to us. So all this kind of doubt should be gone from our mind. When Lord Buddha was asked whether this meant that we must accept some of the belief blindly, he replied, no, but you must know for yourself three great things, that only upon the path of holiness and good living can man finally attain the perfection. That in order to attain it, he moves through many lives, gradually rising higher and higher, and that there is a law of eternal justice under which all these things works. So three things we should remember, that again I will repeat, that only upon the path of holiness and good living a man can finally attain perfection. So whether we are following these teachings or not, but we all as a human being, we are growing and evolving. It is like all of us have to leave somewhere. Suppose all of us are moving towards Delhi. Now, irrespective of whether we are aware or not, we all are moving towards Delhi. Now, with understanding, if we tame our life, if we live a right life with a yoga, like a life of a yogi, living our general common life uh, as a soulful life, then it is like taking train or the flight to Delhi. You'll reach faster, right? So without walking on this path, achieving perfection is not possible. Whether you through these teachings you achieve it faster, or whether by learning the lessons from the life you take longer period of time, but we all have to reach there, right? So this is the one thing. And then the second thing is, that in order to attain it, he moves through many lives, gradually rising higher and higher. So if we take more longer time to learn our lessons, we will be, and we all know that life is limited, right? Physical life is very limited. So a soul has to take many lives to learn these lessons. And in every life is a desire. In day-to-day life, you will desire something. You cannot separate desire from the life if you have a physical life. And all this life, sickness, sorrowness, and all these things, and slowly and gradually you attract actually living a life itself. So when you start following these teachings, you will make your many you will learn the lessons of many incarnation in some of the incarnation, and you can attain and be one with the light, so much earlier than what is expected for a normal human being. So this is the second one. So first is, our perfection cannot be attained without walking in this path. The second is that uh, taking longer time is not recommended. You can learn your lessons through guru and through all these teachings, and you can shorten your physical life, and you can actually attain much quicker. The soul can quickly be one with the higher energy. And and the third is, there is a law of eternal justice under which all these things work. And these are the truth due to the law of nature. At that stage, the man must cast out all the doubts and must be thoroughly and inwardly convinced of these things. But for the man of the world, it is well that he should at least believe that much, because unless he has that as a guide in life, he cannot get any further. And that is the importance of teachers and the gurus and the guides in life, where they tell you. So for common people, they cannot, if you say like, law of karma is given by the God. Now question will come, whether it is true or not, whether it is related to this belief or that belief, whether I should believe or not. Just write it, just write it and see that it is a harmless thing, which is giving me lot of peace. So there is no harm in taming my life based on this. And after adopting this path, I am being very peaceful and kind to self and others. So there is no harm in believing it that. Now the second thing is that, second point is to add beauty in this world, to do more of a service. Okay. I don't believe that it is said by the great supreme being, but just look at this sentence, that it is, this sentence is just saying me to be better and serve, share, be kind to others, make the people around you happy, make the world around you little better, safer, kinder, and nicer to live. If there is no harm whether somebody has said or not, there is no harm in believing in this, right? So if we start taking it as a way of life and start adopting this, we will see that our life is becoming better. And as we see the result, we will start developing our faith, our belief will start becoming stronger and stronger. And one day, the day will come when we will have no doubts. And that is the real sign of an spiritual man. When we believe that what we are doing is right, very virtuous, based on dharma, what is right, virtuous, right? So this is the right belief. And for the further eightfold path, further part, we will take it on the next session. Thank you. Atma Namaste.